Hi everyone, after a very long absence, it's Andrew from Hobbies Australia, and we're back today to have a look at two new kits arriving in early 2025 from Academy, and they'll be featuring markings for the Royal Australian Air Force. So the first kit we're going to have a look at will be kit 12587. This is a 172nd scale PV-1 patrol bomber, following on from the earlier release in the 148 scale. But the model I really want to have a look at today with you is 12635. This is a 1144 scale version of the P-8 Poseidon as used by the Royal Australian Air Force number 11 Squadron. So the first kit we're going to have a look at is going to be kit 12587 from Academy. It's their 172nd scale United States Navy PV-1 patrol bomber, but used by the Royal Australian Air Force during the Second World War, and we've organised Australian markings for it. This isn't a new kit, it's certainly new to Academy. This is a re-release of a kit from Minicraft. Since that company has shut down, Academy have recently obtained the moulds for a number of kits, and this is the next one in the series. So as you can see, open up the parts or the bags. Most importantly, I guess what we're looking at is the Australian markings. I don't really want to spend a lot of time on this kit. This isn't the hero of this video, but as you can see, you know, a little bit heavy in the sprue gates. I guess that's a legacy from the Minicraft moulding, but still this is going to build up very nicely. And the thing I like about Academy reusing the Minicraft moulds was that Minicraft was always a very nice model, certainly was, but I guess personally I felt it was always a little bit expensive. What we're now getting is a good quality product coming out at an Academy price, and I think this is going to be a very, very popular model with modelers in general. You've got a fairly extensive decal sheet there, and then we have the Australian markings. Well printed instructions like we'd expect from Academy. I think this is going to be a real winner. But let's move on to what's going to be the star of this video. So the hero of this video, the one I really want to focus on, is the new release from Academy, kit number 12635, a 1144 United States Navy P-8A Poseidon. Really nice box art, looks fantastic. We'll just have a look quickly at the box sides, and what we can see there are marking options for the United States Navy, for the Royal Australian Air Force. We've got paint callouts for the main brands, which is really good. Everything we've come to expect from Academy. Now, as I open this box, you're going to notice that I've been playing around with this kit. I started to do a few things, but as you can see, we've got a nice heavy-duty top opening box. We've got 1, 2, 3 bags of sprues containing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individual sprues. We get down there. We've got the decal sheet. I'll slide that out. And we've got nice, crisp decals for the United States Navy, for the Royal Australian Air Force number 11 Squadron. We've got the wing markings, we've got the door outlines. Really, really nice. In register, there's not much in the way of excess carrier film. This is very, very well done by the people at Academy. Now, as we've come to see from the people at Academy recently, they're splitting their manuals into two sections. So we'll quickly have a look at manual number 1. So copy of the box art, paint call-outs, the general warnings and cautions that we see on all kit brands now. We flick that open, you can see the fuselage, cockpit, okay. Very straightforward build. As you would have noticed by the number of sprues, it's not a very, very high part count, but this is very well done. And as we get further into this video, we'll get some close-ups and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Flick that over. Okay, standard practice for building with the fuselage, the wings going on. We've got a fully detailed weapons bay, the engines, and then we've got all the hard points under the wings for the Harpoon missiles. Very nicely done. Full weapons complement on this aircraft. Even in 1144, it's still a decent sized model, and Academy have really done some great stuff with 1144 recently. We saw their B-1 bomber, their B-52, we've seen their F-18s, their CH-47s, some really nice stuff coming out, and hopefully, well, this will continue to develop. So second manual continues off with the fit out. We can see the tailplanes there. Now see, they're all moulded as a complete assembly, so they just slip onto the fuselage. That's really different. We've got the tail piece that goes in. We can see the canopy, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a moment. We've then obviously got the parts layout for the sprues. We can see all what's there when we start to see marking and painting options. Just flick that over. It's probably not ideal, but we'll get some better images so we can see there the United States Navy, and then I guess more of interest for local modelers will be this marking option for a number 11 squadron Poseidon out of RAAF Edinburgh. Now, when I normally do videos, I certainly show people, or try to the best of my ability, the quality of the moulds, etc., etc. But I've done something a little bit different with this model, and I was very, very impressed with what they've been able to achieve with the moulding, especially in 1/144. It's one of those scales I think that's getting more and more popular because what's available, the range is growing, and the quality of the kits is becoming quite exceptional. Plus the fact that so many modern aircraft are so large, you can still get a very, very good representation in what we traditionally would regard as braille scale, that being 1/144. So let's get to this one, and you can start to see here what I've done is I've just cut the fuselage halves off. Haven't even cleaned it up really, just been careful cutting it off, and I've just held it together with some 5mm tape. Now, as you can see there, all the panel lines, they just match up beautifully. The fill there with the right adhesive and clamping, there's not going to be much in the way of seam cleanup. A little bit of filling maybe, but it should come up very, very nicely. This is a very impressive model. For the 1/144 scale, I think Academy, again, have done an exceptional job with this. And this is going to be a kit that we're going to see an awful lot of. There's going to be very, very high demand for this. Now, even though it's 1/144 and it's small, the canopy, the windscreen is quite large. So we've got some reasonable detail on the flight deck. We can see here the wings, the underside, lots of panel lines. They're crisp, they're within register. They look very, very impressive. We've got the undercarriage, we've got the wheels. We're going to talk a little bit more about those in a moment. Engines, these are the tailplanes. And as you can see, they are moulded as a single piece. And we've got this little cutout here, or this for the tabs from the fuselage, where you will put those onto the main fuselage on the tailplane, and then you'll get the dihedral right and have it glued, and away you go. Really clever, really smart, and very, very well done. Some of the other parts here from the sprue, the sea sprue, part of the weapons bay, some additional bits and pieces, some of the fins and fillets that go onto the airframe. Part count isn't huge for this model, and it doesn't need to be in this scale, but what is there is done very, very well. So sprue B deals with the engines, and we can see there the intake fans, nicely done. These are the rings for the front of the engine cowling, so these are normally painted a different colour than the overall fuselage, so it's going to be really easy to remove these, clean them up, paint them, and then apply them to the finished airframe. It's really smart what they've done, and I think it's very, very impressive, especially when you figure out that, you know, as I said, it says 1/144. They're pushing the envelope on what's done. Some of the mating points or the attachment points there, you're going to need to be very careful how you clean them up, but, you know, measure twice, cut once, sand carefully. This is going to be a great build. This is probably, in all honesty, a weekend build. Sprue D, we've got the harpoon missiles for underneath the wings. We've got the torpedoes for the weapons bay. They look really, really nice. And if we just quickly go back to the box art, Academy do a set of display stands that are available separately. Now, I think their code for that part off the top of my head, I think is 15065, but that would allow you to build the aircraft and display it wheels up, bomb bay open, you know, lots and lots of opportunity there. This is a very, very well presented, very well thought out, and very, very well executed model. So the last sprue, just quickly, is sprue G. Now this is the transparent parts. Now we've got observation windows for each side of the fuselage, and what we've got here is the big the cockpit window and the top part of the fuselage. And if we look here at the fuselage, we'll see that the canopy is going to fit in there, and the canopy will form the windscreen, obviously for the flight deck, and then the top part of the fuselage. So that's going to require careful masking prior to painting. And to me, I thought, wow, Academy, you've done such a great job. Where are the masks? But there aren't any. So what we've done here at Hobbies Australia is we've had a talk to our local guy, and what we have done, and this is something that will be available only currently in kits distributed by Hobbies Australia, is we have had a set of masks prepared for the fuselage windows, for the cockpit windows, and also for the tyres and wheels for both the nose wheel and the main undercarriage. Now these, as I said, will be available only through kits distributed by Hobbies Australia here in the Australian market, and you can obviously know the brand or the kit that we've distributed because we always put this used in Australian service sticker on the box front. So look, all in all, I think this is a wonderful kit. I really do. It's another Australian subject along with the PV-1 in 1/72nd scale. We've got some great offerings coming to you in early 2025. And there's been a lot of comment, and it's probably, I think, one of the worst kept secrets in the hobby industry. But if we look here, 1144 P-8, that's this kit that we're talking about today, /E7A. So yep, that's right, there's a wedge tail coming, and be more information on that later in 2025 as that becomes available. And I'm sure, like the Poseidon, the wedge tail, the demand for it will be absolutely insane. So Academy, in the 1/72nd scale, the PV-1, kit number 12587, available in the first quarter of 2025. And then of course, the 1144 P-8 Poseidon 12635, again available in the first quarter of 2025. Two kits with Australian markings, adding to the range of Australian military equipment that Hobbies Australia distributes around. We've got kits representing the Australian Army, the Royal Australian Navy, and of course the RAAF. The number of kits we have available currently is sitting just on 130. So there's lots and lots of opportunity out there if you want to model local historical stuff. Hobbies Australia, we've got you covered. Those kits will be available online and in good hobby stores nationwide. By all means, stores are now able to start taking pre-orders. So if you're interested in this, go in, have a chat to the guys at your local hobby store. I'm sure they'll only be too happy to help you out. So obviously, we're almost the pointy end of the year, Christmas and New Year. So on behalf of all of us here at Hobbies Australia, we wish you a wholly happy and safe Christmas. We hope 2025 is a fantastic year for you. And with all these public holidays, with all this time off, let's get out there and let's build more kits. Take care. See you soon.